Discover the amazing secret that transformed my relationship with my daughter before her wedding. Sarah stood amidst the floral arrangements, her heart a cocktail of joy and anxiety. Emily's wedding was merely days away, yet the tension crackled between them like an electric current. She plastered a smile on her face, hiding the turbulence within. The proud mother of the bride felt an ache in her chest when she thought of the sacrifices she made, sacrifices for Emily's future. A future that felt increasingly misaligned with her own dreams. The truth weighed heavily upon her. Each compromise had drawn her daughter further away, into the vibrant world of art that Sarah silently disapproved of. How can you give up everything for this? She had snapped at Emily during the latest argument about her daughter's artistic pursuits. In that moment, fragments of resentment swirled within her. She envisioned the doctor she could have been, the accolades she could have earned. Instead, she found herself in scrubs, attending to patients daily, while her own daughter chased after fragile dreams. The reality felt suffocating, yet she wanted so desperately to be supportive. "Mom, you don't understand," Emily's voice trembled, her eyes ablaze with defiance. And Sarah, despite the fierce love she felt, realized she didn't. All the late nights spent caring for patients, all the years pushing away her own aspirations for Emily's bright future, slowly morphed into an unidentifiable bitterness. As breathing grew uneven and her thoughts raced, she fought to hold on, struggling to reconcile the heavy pull of expectation on both sides. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The afternoon wore on, tension thickening like the humid Midwestern air. With each passing moment, the anticipation of the wedding loomed dangerously close, yet their misunderstanding seemed insurmountable. In a sudden rush of emotion, Sarah fled to the attic, seeking solace away from the floral chaos. Dust danced in the air like lost memories. In the attic's somber silence, a dusty box caught her attention, a relic from a past life. Inside, she found her mother's forgotten letters, exquisite echoes of a woman who had faced struggles of her own, dreams dashed yet fierce in her determination. Each letter painted a picture of her mother, revealing the hidden artistry that had birthed her, the very essence Sarah had fought to suppress. A silent wave of inspiration crashed over her. But could she bear to confront her own lost dreams now? Panic struck as the boundaries of mother and daughter blurred, the past colliding with the present. As the wedding day approached, a haunting question lingered in the air. Could she reconcile her own dreams with Emily's burgeoning ambitions? Just as clarity seemed to emerge, an unknown family secret surfaced, a secret that could rewrite their entire history. With the clock ticking down to the wedding, Sarah stood at the brink of revelation. Would revealing her mother's truth shatter the fragile bond they were only beginning to repair? The weight of the moment pressed on her chest, marking a crossroad, where generations of unspoken dreams awaited the light. In the dimly lit attic, Sarah's fingers brushed over the delicate paper of her mother's letters, each word a thread binding her to the woman who had shaped her in more ways than she had recognized. Waves of realization surged through her, igniting a fire that clawed at her heart. Did she truly know herself? Did she even know her mother? With every letter she read, pieces of her identity began to untangle from the tightly wound knots of expectation and discontent. The letters conveyed a fervor Sarah had buried beneath years of routine, each one capturing moments of ambition, heartbreak, and resilience. The vibrant reflections of her mother's youth inspired Sarah, yet they also shone a harsh light on her choices. The artistic soul that had flourished amidst societal pressures resonated deeply within her, sparking an urgent desire to reclaim that forgotten part of herself. It was unsettling to confront her mother's passions as her own felt increasingly muted, but the attic, with its dust-cloaked memories, became an unlikely reservoir of strength. As she dug deeper into her mother's writings, Sarah began to weave a new narrative, one where acceptance replaced resentment. The revelations prompted her to question her past decisions. Was she denying both herself and Emily the right to choose their own paths? Deep within, she felt the weight of traditional pressures and her prior fear of failure begin to evaporate, Perhaps her daughter's pursuit of art wasn't a betrayal but a brave declaration of self. Emerging from the attic, Sarah felt a burgeoning sense of purpose. She wanted to confront the wounds that had kept her and Emily from truly connecting. With the wedding approaching, she understood the gravity of that moment. The ceremony was not solely about Emily, but a pivotal opportunity for transformation within their relationship. "Mom, are you okay?" Emily's voice broke through Sarah's cloud of thoughts, laden with concern. The girl who stood before her so radiant, so resolute, didn't easily show her own vulnerability. "You've been acting a bit distant." In that instant, Sarah recognized the truth lingering beneath her daughter's question that Emily, too, was struggling with expectations, hers just as tangled in the family legacy. Sarah inhaled slowly, the air saturated with unspoken words. "I've been thinking a lot about us," she began, her voice slightly trembling. She refused to mask her emotions any longer. Emily's expression shifted from skepticism to curiosity, a small step toward bridge building. Sarah hesitated. The enormity of their history weighed heavily on her tongue. The moment forced her to question whether she dared to share the truth of her own suppressed dreams, the same dreams she feared might fracture Emily's delicate aspirations. "Maybe we can talk about how I never quite understood what it meant for you to pursue art," she continued. "And how much I admire your courage." Emily studied her mother, searching her eyes for sincerity. "You mean that?" Sarah realized her heart was wide open. "Yes, and I think we can help each other. I want to understand you better." Emily's gaze softened, and Sarah saw the flicker of hope ignite within her daughter. Yet, as they began to share tentative thoughts, Sarah still felt the looming shadow of the untold family secret, the one that had previously kept her bound in silence. Was she ready to reveal the entirety of her mother's past? The suffocating uncertainty gnawed at her. This was not just a conversation. It was crucial to reshape their lives intertwined by sacrifice and misunderstanding. The wedding day was mere hours away, and with it came an undeniable urgency. As they opened the door to a new understanding, Sarah knew she stood on the precipice of confronting not only the truth about her mother, but the potential to redefine her own future. Could the revelation unite them, or pull them apart anew? As the moment neared, Sarah felt the weight of both fear and excitement. The secret could alter everything, and with it, her chance for the first steps toward becoming the woman she once dreamed she could be. The wedding day dawning bright. Yet Sarah felt a tightening in her chest that no amount of sunlight could alleviate. She stood before the mirror. The reflection staring back at her felt foreign. Dressed in a simple but elegant gown, she couldn't shake the sense that her appearance was a mere facade for the turmoil brewing inside. Today was supposed to be about Emily, but undercurrents of anxiety and anticipation had twisted her stomach into knots as she entered the bustling chaos of pre-wedding preparations. The scene overwhelmed her. Laughter and joy surrounding her only amplified her solitude. Each ribbon tied and flower arranged was a reminder of what was at stake, the chance to finally bridge the chasm of misunderstanding that had long defined her relationship with Emily. The weight of her mother's secrets pressed down on her, alongside the knowing that keeping them hidden might perpetuate a cycle she was desperately striving to break. "Mom, can you help me with my dress?" Emily's voice rang out, inviting Sarah into an intimate moment amidst the wedding frenzy. As they stood side by side, the act of fastening buttons seemed trivial compared to the profound discussions they should be having. Swallowing her fear, Sarah focused on the task, her fingers trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. "Emily, about what we talked about yesterday. I think there's something I need to share with you," she began, her voice catching like a whisper amidst the clamor. It felt as if their past hung in the air between them, becoming thicker with each second. Emily paused, meeting her mother's gaze with an intensity that silenced the surrounding chaos. "What is it? You look serious," she replied, her brow furrowing. The moment stretched taut, echoing with potential. Seeing her daughter's concern rooted in both love and trepidation set Sarah on fire, her resolve hardening. "It's about my mother, your grandmother." The name felt heavy on her tongue. "There are things about her life that have shaped mine, and now yours. I've skimmed the surface out of fear, but I don't want that for you." A glimmer of confusion danced in Emily's eyes. "What do you mean?" Drawing a breath, Sarah fortified herself, confronting the secrets of her mother's past: artistic ambitions, lovers lost, and the hidden reasons why her family had become intertwined in expectations rather than dreams. With each revelation, she felt unburdening, an urgent need for honesty driving her forward. She had dreams, Emily. Dreams she didn't follow because she believed it was her duty to build a stable life for us. But in doing so, she lost part of herself. I fear I've done the same with you. As the words flowed, she saw Emily's reaction shift from surprise to understanding. The artistic spark Sarah had admired in her daughter flickered to life, illuminating the path ahead. You can't force yourself to fit into someone else's mold, she pleaded, feeling a swell of hope. I don't want to keep your grandmother's secrets. They don't belong to us anymore. Tension hung palpably between them, the truth vibrating like a bowstring pulled taut. Do you understand? It's time for you to pursue your art, without the weight of expectation that drained my passion away. Emily's expression became a storm of emotions, exposing raw vulnerability. But what about your dreams, Mom? If you wanted to express yourself too, why didn't you? The question stabbed Sarah like a blade, tearing into the seams of her past choices driven by obligation and fear. She had allowed anxiety to dictate her life. I let fear win for too long, she admitted, a lump forming in her throat. I want to change that for both of us. Silence enveloped them as Emily processed the admission. The wedding preparations continued, but for Sarah time seemed almost suspended, focused solely on this singular moment. She realized the connection was not only about understanding her mother's past, but also about confronting her own choices. This truth, raw and exposed, could either bridge the gap or widen it further. Are you saying it's okay for me to be an artist? Emily's voice was barely above a whisper, a tremor of disbelief evident within. Yes, Sarah breathed, feeling the weight of centuries grinding away. You have every right to pursue your passion, and in acknowledging my struggles, I hope it frees you from the burdens I never intended to pass down. Just as a glimmer of hope emerged, a cold realization struck Sarah: the family secret still loomed, casting uncertainties upon their newfound connection. Could she truly let Emily forge her own path without divulging everything? The wedding bells chimed, and with them came a sense of finality. She felt the knot deepen once more, the moment ever more urgent as they walked toward the ceremony. The air was thick with anticipation. Would facing the truths of her past dismantle the very foundation they had begun to build? She could already feel the ground tremble beneath her. The repercussions of her decision loomed large, and she understood one thing clearly. The moment had come to face her fears head-on, and to confront the family secrets that could either free them or tear them apart once more. As she pushed forward, she couldn't shake the pervasive question: was she prepared to unveil the shocking truth that might redefine everything? As Sarah approached the elegant wooden archway draped in white lace, her heart raced with each step. The faint sounds of music floated through the air, mingling with the excited chatter of guests. Yet she felt detached, like she was hovering above the reality beneath her. The ceremony, meant to herald a union, instinctively highlighted her own fractures, a realization that today was not only about Emily's marriage but also a reckoning of her own shortcomings. The weight of her revelations pressed heavily on her. The secrets she had withheld now felt like boulders lodged in her throat. She had opened the door to honesty, but was she prepared to go further? Could the truth of her past truly set both her and Emily free? The expectations she carried were no longer hers to bear, but the notion of revealing the whole story, the complexity of her mother, the dreams, the failures, gnawed at her spirit. Then, in the midst of the floral splendor, she caught sight of Emily, radiant and poised, the embodiment of hope and possibility. That moment sculpted her turmoil into a sharpened clarity. Sarah forced her gaze away, grounding herself with a silent mantra. This wasn't just about her. Determined not to let fear dictate her actions any longer, she stole a breath, finding a flicker of strength in the very essence of that day. Just as the first notes of the wedding march filled the space, she recognized a turning point before her. Decisions loomed, and they stretched into the future she envisioned for both of them. As Emily joined the procession toward the altar, a sense of pride welled within Sarah. But pride couldn't quell the questions that bubbled to the surface. Who was she to guide her daughter in pursuing an authentic life if she had never done so herself? That realization gnawed at her, challenging her to take yet another bold step forward. Mom! Emily's voice broke through Sarah's reverie, pulling her into the present. Emily reached for her hand, a gesture of unity between them. The warmth of that contact connected Sarah to the reality of the moment, transforming her trembling anxiety into a reservoir of determination. "Forever is a long time, isn't it?" Emily asked, her eyes dancing with excitement and a hint of anxiety. Sarah nodded. One word was all she could summon. Yet in that nod lay a promise she yearned to express. A promise of vulnerability, the courage to accept imperfection, and the intention to be a role model not just in success, but in honest struggle. As the ceremony unfolded, each word exchanged by the officiant and the couple entwined Sarah's consciousness in a dance between past and present. The delicate flower crowns, the laughter, and the emotional vows echoed the urgency she felt to share her truths. She was not only the mother of the bride but a woman on the precipice of reclaiming her own narrative. Once the vows had been exchanged, music filling the air, the couple basked in their newly formed commitment. Guests erupted into applause, but as the sound faded, Sarah felt another surge of resolve. She couldn't remain in the shadows of the secrets that plagued her lineage. Today, meant to celebrate Emily, was also a pivotal moment to finally confront the family history that had hung like a shrouded figure. Could she truly articulate the depth of her experiences? Would Emily welcome the honesty that could dismantle everything she thought she knew about their family? As the toasts commenced, Sarah made a choice. She would light this path together with Emily, not allowing fear to anchor them to buried truths any longer. Just as she contemplated her approach, a wave of determination surged through her. This wedding, filled with love, joy, and the intertwining of lives, was the perfect backdrop to reveal her truths. But how could she unveil the family narrative, a tale of unfulfilled artistry and aspirations, without shattering the fragile hope of this union? As she leaned closer to Emily during the reception, her heart pounded with the realization she had another decision to make. Would she seize the moment to transform both their futures by unveiling the family's secrets right here and now? "Emily," she began, her voice a mere whisper among the jubilant celebrations. The time had come, but would revelations unify or unravel them forever? Sarah's breath caught in anticipation, the moment ripe with uncertainty. As the joyous laughter and clinking of glasses resonated around her, Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Emily's joyful expression was as bright as the chandelier above them, yet Sarah sensed a storm brewing beneath the surface of her own hesitance. A myriad of emotions swirled within her, igniting the desire to break the silence that had enveloped their family for generations. "Emily," she repeated, grounding herself in the moment, pulling the warmth of her daughter's hand into her own. "There's something I need to share with you. Something important." Her heart raced, not just from fear but from an unexpected thrill. This was her chance to break free from the chains of their past. Emily looked at her with a mix of curiosity and concern, the music fading into a soft hum around them. "Kay, what is it?" The innocence in her voice struck Sarah like a spark in the dark. She hesitated, searching for the right words. How could she unravel the tightly woven fabric of their family's history without tearing apart the joy of this moment? It felt like she was on the edge of a precipice, balancing everything she had wanted to say for so long against the risk of Emily's shock and potential disappointment. "Do you remember the stories I used to tell you about Grandma? How she always dreamed of being an artist?" Sarah started, hoping to draw Emily in with familiar ground. "You know, she never truly pursued that dream. Life got in the way, and well, to be honest, she was never able to see the beauty in her own talents." Emily's eyes widened, urging her silently to continue. "I know you always said she had such potential," she replied softly. "That's just it, Em." Sarah's voice carried a tremor, but her resolve steeled with each word. "I always thought she was happy just being a mother. But there was so much more to her story, so much pain. I've carried those stories, not wanting to burden you with my struggles. But they've shaped me, and they shape you too. You should know them." As she spoke, Sarah could feel the gravity of the statement she was making. Claire's unfulfilled dreams had cast a shadow over their lives, and now that darkness was beginning to lift. Their bond, previously dominated by silence, was being crafted anew in the light of honesty. "Mom, I appreciate you telling me this. But I'm confused. What are you trying to say? That I might not be the first person in our family to pursue my dreams?" Emily's brow furrowed, the unrecognizable pang of worry creeping into her bright demeanor. "No, Em, it's deeper than that," Sarah explained, desperate to carve out a space for understanding. "You not only have the right to pursue your dreams, but you have the responsibility to do so for both of us. I held back from my own creativity. I let my fears dictate my choices just like Grandma. I don't want that for you. I want to be different from here on out, no secrets. Emily shifted on her feet, digesting the weight of Sarah's declaration. The room's atmosphere seemed to tighten, amplifying the tension. Just then the applause from a distant toast reverberated, temporarily pulling them both back to reality. What if I don't know how? Emily finally posed, the sincerity in her voice making Sarah's heart ache. It's okay not to know. Sometimes the journey is messy and that's valid. But it's your journey, and I want you to lead it fearlessly. Without the weight of my regrets on your shoulders, Sarah responded, her conviction beginning to solidify. As they stood together, amidst radiance and celebration, Sarah realized this moment was more than a confession, it was a profound awakening. Just as Emily opened her mouth to respond, Sarah caught a glimpse of the older women at a nearby table whispering. She noticed their furtive glances, and suddenly her courage wavered. The fear of judgment threatened to creep in, making her question if she was prepared for the ripple effects that would follow. Would daring to confront these complex family narratives unite them in strength or unravel what fragile unity they had? The stakes were high, and as Emily searched her mother's gaze, Sarah felt the anticipation of change hovering in the air. How far did she dare go now? Before Sarah could frame her next thought, the unexpected arrival of an old friend from her past, unexpectedly disruptive and uneasy, took her breath away. Who was this person, and what stories from her past would they bring with them? The moment froze, the air thick with uncertainty. Sarah's heart raced as she recognized the familiar face from long ago, a face she had tried to forget. Mark's presence sent a wave of nostalgia laced with anxiety through her. Memories of laughter shared and promises made crept back, a time before she buried herself in family obligations and unfulfilled dreams. What was he doing here? The question loomed ominously in her mind, pressing her to the edge of a decision. She felt an electric pull, juxtaposed against the soft warmth of Emily's hand in her own. The dichotomy shook her resolve. Was this truly the right moment for her to plunge deeper into the layers of her past? Mark, she exhaled, forcing herself to meet his eyes. The distance they had traversed felt insurmountable in that single breath. His expression shifted from surprise to concern as he noticed the tense atmosphere surrounding her and Emily. Sarah, is everything okay? He asked quietly, a hint of genuine care lacing his words. She glanced back at Emily, who was watching with wide eyes, her curiosity morphing into concern. Emily appeared to oscillate between a desire to protect her mother and wanting to unearth the hidden layers of this unexpected reunion. Sarah sensed the unspoken question radiating between them. Did she want this stranger's presence to be a part of their moment? Everything is fine, Sarah lied, feeling the weight of untruth settle in her stomach. This is just a surprise. Mark stepped a little closer, casting a glance toward Emily, whose expression challenged the remnants of Sarah's veils of secrecy. I didn't mean to intrude. It's just good to see you, he offered, his voice steady, betraying none of the apprehension that clawed at Sarah. A flicker of memory beckoned, daring her to revisit a version of herself that had ambitions, dreams, and a belief in the potential laid dormant within her. How long had she forsaken the woman she used to be? The contrast between the Sarah before Mark and the Sarah before Emily felt like two parallel paths diverging under separate skies. Mark, she began, steadying her breath. You were a big part of my life. I didn't expect to see you here. Each word was a careful calculation, the implications buzzing in her mind. I heard you've been really busy with your family, and I truly respect that, he replied, an earnest connection weaving through their exchange. But I wanted to tell you I've missed you. The sincerity in his voice knocked the air out of her lungs, and for a brief moment, the festivities around them faded, leaving only the sound of their shared history. Emily's presence was grounding and yet expressed a sharp urgency. Time was slipping away. Mom, do you want to catch up? Emily's voice was steady, a surprising firmness layered beneath her innocent exterior, urging Sarah to break away from this moment of nostalgia. Would reconnecting with Mark bring healing or further complicate the narrative she was desperately trying to reshape? The duality of her emotions threatened to drown her in indecision, but beneath that tide of conflict lay a burning realization: the hidden stories of her past needed to be acknowledged if she wanted to grow. No, I think it's all right, she asserted, trying to dispel her vulnerability. I have a lot to think about right now, Mark. Maybe we can talk later? There was a stillness in his gaze as he nodded slowly, recognizing the faint barrier she was trying to muster. Yet it only deepened her internal turmoil. She had felt a flicker of something igniting within her, a desire not just to confront, but to reconnect with the dreams she once dared to tread upon. What about you, Em? Sarah turned back to her daughter, seeking reassurance amidst the chaos. What do you really want? But before Emily could answer, laughter erupted from the round table of acquaintances, momentarily overshadowing their thoughts. Sarah realized the gravity of her confrontation with the past was far more convoluted than she had anticipated. As an invisible clock ticked down, she could feel the finale of her decisions creeping closer. The air was charged with unresolved questions. Would she let Mark's unexpected return spark a conversation that pushed her further into her truth? Or would she autonomously navigate this new territory without him? The answer seemed layered in uncertainty, yet the fabric of their relationship was unraveling before her eyes. Then, as if Providence directed their moment, Mark leaned in closer and uttered words she never saw coming. "There's something I need to tell you, Sarah. Something important." Sarah's entire being braced, anticipating the revelations ahead. Would this moment prove transformative for their relationship? Or would it only weave more tension into the fabric of their family narrative? What secrets could Mark be holding that would alter everything? The uncertainty loomed heavily, leaving the next chapter of their lives teetering on the brink. Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine as she processed Mark's words. The urgency in his tone weighed on her. It demanded attention and consideration. Could this revelation be about their past? Or did it relate to something different altogether? Facing him felt like standing on the edge of a precipice, one misstep threatening to plunge her back into memories she wasn't ready to confront. Yet the pull was undeniable, as if the universe conspired to bring them back together at this moment. "Okay," she said slowly, measuring her words. "What is it? What do you want to tell me?" Her heart raced as she fumbled for control, her mind swirling with possibilities. The eyes of her daughter hovered nearby, wide and waiting, expecting her mother to navigate this moment with grace and clarity. Mark took a deep breath, the tension radiating in the small space between them. "It's about your dreams, Sarah," he finally said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "The ones you used to talk about. I think you need to hear this, especially now." Mark, she hesitated, frustration bubbling to the surface. She had spent so long burying those dreams. They felt almost like a different person's desires, not hers. "I don't think this is the right moment for it is," he interrupted gently. "Just listen for a second. You were so passionate and it didn't just fade away. Still in you, even if you've put it aside." His words ignited a flicker of something deep within her, reminding her of the vibrant woman she once was, the woman who wanted more than just a quiet life defined by obligations. Emily's expression shifted to one of profound understanding, as if she could sense the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her mother. "Mom," she said softly, stepping closer, "this might be important for you. Maybe understanding will help you." Sarah looked between them, feeling the growing impatience of suppressed aspirations rise like a tidal wave. Was reconnecting with Mark really a step towards growth? Or merely a distraction from the present? "Hey Mark, let us say I still have those dreams. What does that change?" she demanded, her tone sharper than intended. "I think it changes everything," he replied, unwavering. "You see, I've been working on a project that could use your creativity and vision. I didn't want to reach out before, but I felt this pull too. Meeting you here must mean something. It's a chance to rekindle those ambitions." The invitation struck her like the first rays of dawn after a long night. Fear clashed violently with hope within her. The thought of reigniting her creative pursuits sent a rush of adrenaline through her. Yet a wave of panic ensued. What if she failed? What if reopening this door led her away from the life she carefully built with Emily? "Have you even thought about how this impacts what I have now?" she exclaimed, the conflicting feelings boiling over. "I can't just leap into something because it sounds exciting. I have my responsibilities, and you're not the only factor here. Neither of us is asking you to choose right now, Sarah." Mark's tone was reassuring. "Just consider it. This isn't about me, it's about you. You deserve to explore what you want." The sincerity in his voice demanded reflection. Could she really allow herself to entertain the idea of pursuing her long-lost passions? Mark's presence had sparked a flicker of hope, and she knew it could just as easily evolve into a conflagration of her current life. Placing everything she valued at risk, Emily stepped even closer. Reaching for her hand, the room felt charged with the weight of potential decisions. Would she take a chance on herself? Or would this confrontation with the past lead her to retreat further into her carefully curated routine? Give it a week, Mark suggested, leaning closer. His voice barely a murmur against the din of laughter nearby. Don't close off the possibility. Just think. With that simple request, a door swung open inside her, but the faint whispers of fear threatened to pull it shut. What could be waiting for her on the other side of that door? The air thickened with uncertainty as she weighed her options. Would she dare step toward a risk that might lead to something extraordinary? Or would this moment dissolve into yet another flicker of unfulfilled promise? Mom, Emily pressed, her eyes glistening with anticipation. Please promise me you'll think about it. Okay, she finally replied with a nod, her heart racing not just from fear, but from a burgeoning excitement that had long been stifled as Mark's smile broke through the tension. A new layer of her life began to unfold. But what follows this decision and choosing whether to embrace it, could shake the foundations of the future she thought she knew. How could taking a step toward her past alter not only her own destiny, but also the relationship with her daughter might change everything? As the days crept by, Sarah felt the weight of Mark's suggestions settle around her like a thick fog, enveloping her thoughts and stifling her daily routine. The idea had taken root, and with every passing hour, the questions swirled in her mind, punctuated by flashes of excitement and panic. Would revisiting her dreams ultimately bring her fulfillment or fracture the carefully arranged life she shared with Emily? Every time she gazed at her daughter's face, each smile lit with the innocence of youth, a wave of guilt washed over her. Could she risk jeopardizing the comfort of their life for the flicker of aspiration threatening to ignite within her? She had spent so long crafting a stable environment for Emily, rooted in predictability to shield them both from uncertainty. Mark's words instigated a stirring within her, intertwining hope with dread. Just think, Mom, Emily had encouraged, her voice gentle but firm. It echoed in Sarah's thoughts now. Could she begin the journey of self-discovery without abandoning her daughter? The notion clashed violently with her deeply ingrained instinct to protect Emily from anything that might resemble a chaotic upheaval. Amid this turmoil, Sarah found herself drawn back to her sketchbook, a tool she had shoved into the shadows, collecting dust. Each page was filled with ideas that once poured from her heart, vibrant colors dancing across the sheets, reflecting the dreams she once pursued with relentless ambition. The sketches were both a comfort and a reminder of the woman she had been, unfiltered and alive with possibility. In the quiet solitude of the evening, the notes began to flow again, filling pages that awaited her resurrection of ideas. Plans formed as she conceptualized ways her creativity could intertwine with Mark's project. But each brushstroke and line danced with those nagging doubts. Was it too late? Could she really reclaim that piece of herself, or was this just a naive dream? The next afternoon, determined to test the waters, she decided to meet Mark. Arranging their meeting sparked both exhilaration and dread. What if she couldn't deliver what he imagined? What if the reality of her creativity fell short of expectations, ensuring everything would come crashing down? As she walked into the coffee shop, the familiar aroma of roasted beans and sweet pastries filled the air. Mark was already seated at a table, poring over papers. The sight of him jolted her. He looked as passionate as ever, eagerly lost in thought, which intensified her resolve to stand against her fears. Hey, Mark looked up, a smile breaking across his face, and he gestured for her to sit. You came. I'm really glad. His enthusiasm seemed infectious, pushing her to express what she had penned in those quiet moments. I've been working on some ideas. I wrote them down. I want your feedback. Her voice trembled slightly, but she pressed on, opening her sketchbook to reveal her reworked dreams. The sun streamed through the window, illuminating her designs, and she felt the spark of inspiration ignite between them as Mark flipped through the pages. He examined each one thoughtfully, occasionally glancing up at her, his eyes alight with interest. Sarah, this is brilliant, he said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. You haven't lost your edge. This is exactly what we need. Heat rose in her cheeks, but amidst the stewing doubts, Sarah realized something fundamental. This wasn't just about Mark's project. It was also about her own reclamation of her identity. The fear began to recede, replaced by recognition. She could start daring to revive her dreams without sacrificing the relationship she held dear with Emily. "Thank you," she replied, her confidence swelling. "I want to explore this further." As they brainstormed together, Sarah was filled with a new sense of purpose and clarity, mapping out a potential path for themselves. In that moment, she could see a bridge forming between her past aspirations and her present reality, and it felt monumental. However, with the excitement pulsating through her, a troubling thought fizzled beneath the surface. What if Emily rejected this newfound side of her, believing it could disrupt their bond? The very idea froze her momentarily, creating a ripple of tension in the atmosphere. With every detail they discussed, Sarah recognized that this journey would not come without difficulty. She had to confront not only the risk of failure, but also the possibility of misalignment with Emily's expectations. Would her daughter accept this evolution of her mother without feeling left behind? As she departed the cafe, her heart surged with the thrill of rekindled passion, yet a shadow loomed, leaving her to ponder. How would Emily respond when she finally revealed the emotions and ambitions that had surfaced? The thought hung heavily in the air as she stepped into her car, gripping the steering wheel with renewed determination. Now it seemed not only would she need to forge her own path, but also revisit the nature of her relationship with Emily. The tension crackled within her, both growth and anxiety intertwined. What awaited her on this road of self-discovery, and how could she ensure her daughter would walk alongside her instead of pulling away? The path had opened, but Sarah still faced anchor-laden choices. How could she navigate this precarious balance and share her newfound journey without risking her most precious bond? The following days were a whirlpool of ideas and uncertainties. Sarah's mind raced with the possibilities that her rekindled passion presented. After her meeting with Mark, she found herself sketching more fervently than ever, pouring emotion into each line. The creative process, once a distant echo of her life, now felt like a vital force springing to life within her. Yet, even as her enthusiasm grew, the internal battle raged on. Each morning, Emily would bound into the kitchen, her energy infectious, but Sarah struggled with the need to protect her from the uncertainty that now swirled in her own heart. How could she explain her artistic yearning to a child who only saw her as a mother, and not as an individual with her hopes and dreams? That distinction weighed heavily on Sarah. "Mom, can we go to the park today?" Emily's innocent request pulled her from the depths of her self-reflection. "Sure. That sounds great," Sarah said, momentarily shaking off her lingering anxiety. As they strolled through the sun-dappled park, watching children play and families connect, Sarah felt a jolt of clarity. This was her world, creating memories for, and with Emily. But what else was waiting for her beyond these moments? Standing on a weathered wooden bench to get a better view of the scene below, Sarah observed the joyful chaos. It was then that she made a decision. She would not only embrace this new creative chapter for herself, but also incorporate Emily into it. Perhaps their bond could be fortified through shared exploration instead of threatened by it. How about you help me with something?" she suggested as they walked back toward the car, her heart racing with anticipation. "What?" Emily spun around, her curiosity piqued. "I've been drawing and thinking about some ideas, and I'd love for you to be part of it. You can help me come up with the stories behind the designs." Emily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Really? I'd love to. Can we create a story about a princess who is also a superhero?" Biting back a smile, Sarah felt the warmth of the moment seep into her bones. "Absolutely. A princess who saves the day. What a powerful story." This collaborative venture ignited a sense of empowerment within Sarah. She could involve Emily in her passion, while ensuring that her daughter understood the pursuit behind those lines and colors. As they illustrated their combined vision one evening, laughter flowed easily between them, punctuating the quiet of their shared space. Sarah marveled at Emily's creativity and perspective. The girl had layered in details that sparked even more inspiration for Sarah's sketches. But beneath that joy loomed the specter of doubt again. Would incorporating Emily into her journey dilute her aspirations, or would it ultimately reinforce their bond? As Sarah slipped into bed that night, she found herself grappling with a pivotal realization. The journey of self-discovery wasn't meant to be solitary. Perhaps by ushering Emily into her world, she was inviting her daughter to witness the beauty in pursuing passions, thereby creating a bridge of understanding. Days turned into weeks as their creative partnership blossomed, and soon Sarah was meeting with Mark regularly, presenting ideas infused with Emily's imagination as well. The feedback was encouraging. "This is fantastic work, Sarah. Your daughter has a knack for storytelling," Mark praised. Each compliment bolstered Sarah's resolve. Yet the shadow of uncertainty was never far behind. Would Emily perceive the shifts in their dynamic as threatening? One evening, after a particularly vibrant brainstorming session, Sarah faced her imminent challenge head-on. Emily was weaving magic in a new piece, and Sarah watched her daughter's spirit thrive. Yet, with each stroke of the brush, a question seeped into her mind. How much of this new identity was still authentically hers? "Can we talk?" she said, approaching the table where Emily sat surrounded by colors and enthusiasm. Emily looked up, her eyes bright. "About what? More princess stories?" Sarah hesitated, the weight of the moment pressing against her. "About everything that's happening. You've been so amazing helping me, but I want to make sure you feel good about it." The intensity in Emily's gaze shifted to one of curiosity, and Sarah realized the moment of truth loomed. This was the turning point, a potential fracture or an unbreakable bond. "Why wouldn't I feel good? I love creating with you," Emily exclaimed. But would that confidence hold if Sarah's commitments and passions began to pull her in a different direction? As they stood on the precipice of an open dialogue, Sarah felt her heart tethering them together, and yet a chasm of fear lay beneath. What would this unearthing of certain truths mean for her child? Could she bear to reveal the deeper layers of her desires without risking their connection? In that fleeting moment, Sarah knew she had to confront that fear. The time had come to face both her ambitions and the possibility of her daughter's different perceptions. How would Emily react when the truth untangled and shifted their relationship into new realms? With each passing day, as Sarah and Emily deepened their artistic collaboration, the delicate bond they had begun to rebuild grew stronger. They painted and sketched, weaving vibrant dreams into stories that sparked laughter and joy. Yet, the undercurrent of uncertainty still grappled with Sarah's heart. Could she truly embrace her ambitions without jeopardizing her relationship with her daughter? One evening, surrounded by the comforting mess of paintbrushes and sketches, Sarah saw the light in Emily's eyes flicker with sincerity. "Mom, I love this. Can we keep creating together forever?" The question tugged at Sarah's heart. Her daughter's innocent exuberance echoed the very dreams Sarah had buried for too long. "Of course, she replied, her voice more confident than she felt. "I want this too. But I also need to share a part of myself with you, the part that struggles, the part that dreams." It was a moment she had long anticipated but dreaded. The look on Emily's face shifted from excitement to concern. "What do you mean?" she asked quietly, her steps towards Sarah slowing as if sensing the weight of the moment. Taking a deep breath, Sarah gathered her courage, the air thick with anticipation. "When I was younger, I had dreams too. I wanted to be an artist just like you." The words flowed, each syllable easing the tension in her chest. "But life got complicated and I lost sight of those dreams. I want you to know that you have the right to pursue your passions without feeling held back by expectations. Your grandmom didn't chase hers, and I don't want to make the same mistake." Emily's brow furrowed, processing the shift in their conversation. "So, you're saying you want to create again?" Her voice was tentative, like a new artist unsure of the canvas before her. "Yes," Sarah said, her voice steady. "And I want you to help me. The stories we're creating are ours." A realization dawned on Emily, and her gaze softened. "You don't have to be afraid of letting me see that part of you. It's okay to be a mom and also be you," she reassured, her words imbuing them with understanding and strength. In that moment, Sarah felt the chains of expectation and fear loosen their grip. A profound connection tethered them, not just by blood but by shared dreams. She saw Emily, not just as her daughter, but as a creative partner, and confusion faded into understanding. The whirlwind of preparation for the art project with Mark transformed into joyous anticipation. It became more than an opportunity to relive her youthful ambitions, it was a stepping stone toward co-creating an enriched future with Emily. With shared stories woven into their art, a tapestry of colors and narratives began to take shape, with each stroke of the brush binding their dreams together. And the weeks that followed, Sarah noticed a difference in herself. A confidence blossomed, and every meeting with Mark reinforced her determination. Their conversations became exciting dialogues, and every compliment he offered felt like a nod to both her potential and that of her daughter. Sarah was no longer just a mother. She was a force of creativity, reclaiming a part of herself long barred from the light. As the day for their big presentation approached, confidence surged within her. The dual exhibition of their collective work held the promise of recognition not merely for her past, but as an acknowledgement of her present, her journey enriched by Emily's spirit and talent. All those momentous moments intertwined sat firmly at the intersection of mother and artist. On the day of the exhibition, the gallery buzzed with energy and excitement. The polished artwork adorned the walls, a testament to their shared journey, revealing a narrative both intertwined and unique. Each piece shimmered with emotions and vibrancy, telling the story of a mother rediscovering her dreams alongside her daughter's courage to pursue her own. The commendations flooded in, recognition cascading over Sarah like a warm embrace. She felt an overwhelming wave of satisfaction as she stood together with Emily, their joint creation celebrated by supportive friends and curious onlookers alike. At that moment, Sarah understood. She had not only accomplished her goal of rediscovering her identity, but had also set an example for Emily to embrace her own passions fearlessly. When the applause died down, and attendees began to mingle, Emily caught Sarah's gaze, her eyes sparkling with shared joy. "Can we do this again, Mom?" The question echoed through the air. Not just a hope but a desire to continue their creative journey together. "Yes," Sarah replied, a smile forming that resonated with contentment. "This is just the beginning." With that stated ambition intertwined with gratitude for their strengthened bond, Sarah felt complete. As she looked at her daughter, she knew they'd face whatever came next together unafraid, with hearts open to dreams once lost but now bravely pursued. Every challenge they had faced and every secret unveiled became an opportunity to reclaim the voice and creativity that had long echoed in silence. And in this newfound clarity, Sarah realized she was now living authentically. Her journey led them to the vibrant horizon of possibilities where neither she nor Emily would ever feel alone in chasing their dreams. So, as they locked eyes amidst the celebration, Sarah understood. This was the moment they had both been waiting for, and the journey of self-discovery transformed them forever. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support truly counts. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. I want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. You need to subscribe now and don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.